got to love what you do. You won't love it every day, but you've got to love what you do, otherwise you'll fail. Because your clients will perceive the fact you don't enjoy it. And so if you're not enjoying it, then, I wrote a number of things. My third one was know when to cut your losses. I hated my first job. I was a reinsurance broker at Lloyd's. It was just, this is 100 years ago. It was awful. I hated it. Luckily, sadly, of course, my granny died and left me some money, and I bought an air ticket to Kathmandu. I had fun. I had a great couple of years, and then eventually I had a bit more money, and I came back and got a job as a reinsurance broker at Lloyd's for a year until I could go to business school. So first thing is love what you do, and if you know yourself, if you don't love it, really look at yourself. And one of the things I've always done is every year, and that sort of empty period between Christmas and New Year when you're not quite on holiday, you're not quite at work, that's when I try and write out a balance sheet. Do I hate it? Do I love it? Do I want to do it for another year? And then you put it away for a year, because you can't examine it all the time, but you've got to think about it once a year. Then I was trying to think, if we were given an email about, 3 things never to do with your ultra high net worth clients. Never expect them to pick up the tab. Never, and I really mean that, it's not a joke. Never ever assume. I had lunch yesterday with one of my clients. She's a divorced lady. It's got 16 million pounds. I paid for lunch. Why? And she notices that because everybody assumes that she'll pay. Another one of my good friends who's worth 2 or 3 billion, I pay for the burger in Bahrain. Because actually what we want to do is eat a burger. We've known each other for 30 years. We want to eat a burger in Bahrain. I pay for that. So it's really important to that, but that's slightly trivial. The more important thing, just one thing I want you to remember of tonight, just one thing, is you've got to be sincere with the people. When you get the phone call, your call is important to us. Well, no, it isn't important to us. Otherwise, you'll be answering it. Never say something that you don't genuinely believe. I know that if somebody says to me, and I'm sure this has happened to all of us, somebody says, oh, hi, Charlie, how's the family? I always say, dead. And they say, well, what do you mean? Because they patently have no idea if I have any family or what age they are or whatever they are. And my mother always answers the phone when they ask to speak. He's dead. My point is, only ask a question if you want to know the answer. And it sounds so straightforward. Be sincere. If you want to know something, ask the question. If you're just filling in time, don't. Because clients, think of yourself. You will be these rich clients at some point in the future. You want the people to be sincere. So and it really pervades everything that you should do, is only ask the question you can. If you know that they've got a daughter who's gone to uni and you can't remember the name and you can't remember the uni, you say, I can't remember which uni your daughter's going to. That is a question which says that you care about that person, rather than trying to make something up. So sincerity is fantastically important in every aspect of what you do. And said hello to some of you work, whether not on the accounting side or the legal side or any of those things, but just being truly honest to yourself. Because you will meet these people again, and they will remember if you weren't actually truly caring. And it doesn't mean you've got to be overly caring, but you just got to be sincere. The next huge issue, this is specifically to people with a lot of money, really any money, but anybody where you are a trusted advisor, don't forget it's their money. It's very easy if you're a fund manager, which is how I've spent a significant part of my life, looking after people's money. I'm looking after this pot day after day. You sort of forget that it's actually their money. And their client comes in and you're saying, oh, well, no, they say they want to take some money. I say, well, it's very, I've heard this said, because I also sit as a trustee or in a charity, where the fund manager says, well, it's very inconvenient to wire the money out. Well, it's my fucking money. So never forget that it's your client's money. And if you're a tax accountant and you're saying what you should do is X because that makes good sense, you should divide it into a trust and give it all to your children, you should do it into a bypass. any number of good, smart things that you can do. And if they just say no, you just say, okay, it's their money, it's their choice. And I've sat on the receiving end of so many of those instructions where the person on the other side has clearly decided what they think is right, and they've lost sight of the fact that it's not their money. And remember, they're the ones with the money. They're the rich, they're the clever guys, they're the guys with the money. So, and these things sound banal, but if you really try to do that, and all through a meeting, say to yourself when you've got a client who may be less well versed in whatever it is you're talking to them about, you may think they just don't get it, these guys are bozos, don't they get it? Say, no, it's their money. If they want to do this, that's fine. I must give them the opportunity to make a choice, a rational choice. And if they don't understand the choice, it's your fault, not theirs. So number two. And the other thing, which I think is really much, much overlooked, and I've had the benefit of multiple periods of education in my life because I endlessly decided that I stop beginning to cut your losses. If I don't like what I'm doing, I walk out. I stop doing it and do something else for a while. Listen very carefully to what people tell you. In the private client world, and this is true in every world, and I don't know for my two co-speakers who are working in family law, the first 5 minutes when you meet somebody, they tell you 90% of what matters to them. And they really, really do. But what most people don't do is listen really, really hard. When you meet somebody if you're pitching to them, you're meeting them for the first time because they want to ask for advice, be it on the law, be it on investment management, be it on accountancy, or anything, they will really tell you pretty much everything you need to know right at the beginning. And that's why you want to be that, and you want to be super attentive for those first 5 minutes, because people will tell you everything. And if you pay attention to that, then you can then start relating what you're saying to what they just told you. But most people are and it's really tough when you're starting, and I started looking after people's money when I was 30, because I'd had various other lives before then. You didn't really pay attention. It wasn't for a while that I understood. But then you've got your pitch book, you've laboured over it, or somebody else has laboured over it. Never take anybody else's pitch book into a meeting, ever. Put it in the bin. Marketing has given it to you, dump it, because you will be better off saying what you believe than you will be saying what somebody else thinks you should believe. Very straightforward. I'm having a serious issue. I've just become an employee for the first time in 34 years. I'm having significant issues with the concept of being an employee and signing up. I had to fill in my holiday form today, which was a wholly novel. Yeah, wholly ingenious thing. No, but you've got to believe what you're saying to the client. You've really, really got to pay attention to what they're saying. And then, because if you listen to what they're saying, and you dump the 58 pages, then you will address what they've told you. Then they'll like you. And in the end, that's what you want. That's all you want, is for them to like you, to have faith in you. So those are my 3 things, really.